best car, SUV, or truck, guess what? You're in luck. Frontier Motors is down the street. Got the best deals that can't be beat. Don't overpay, come in today. Doing business the old-fashioned way. Frontier, we got the right price. Frontier, we'll treat you mighty nice. Frontier Motors, low overhead country.
Hello, I'm Iven Streckel, owner of Frontier Motors, and welcome to the Frontier Motor Show. We're bringing the show live to you from downtown Pensacola at the Cowork Annex on beautiful Palafox Street. Oh, by the way, that if this is your first time watching the Frontier Motor Show, we talk a little bit what's going on in the car industry and what's going on at Frontier Motors. We answer questions on how to buy a car and what you should pay for a car and what a good deal is for a car. And by the way, you can join us because this is being streamed live right now on YouTube. So if you go to Frontier Motors on YouTube, you can actually go on there and hit the live button and ask us a question if you got a question about the car industry, what's going on. The first thing we normally start about is what's new in the car industry right now. And one of the things that's new is a lot. There's a lot of new cars that they are introducing. Matter of fact, I just looked up some of the cars and I didn't even know that some of these cars were brand new. So I'm going to go over a little bit what's going on in the new car industry. And the reason it's always important to us in the used car industry, of course, is that if somebody doesn't buy a brand new car, we're going to be out of business in a short period of time, because that means there's not going to be any used cars. So we're happy that the new car industry is rocking and rolling. They're on track this year in 2019 to hit 17 million cars again. That'll be about the fifth time they've done that. I think the record was 17.5 million cars about 3 years ago. The new car that's very impressive to us is the Jeep Gladiator. And I don't think they're on the lot yet, but they're getting really close. So check out the Jeep Gladiator. I just looked at it on the website, and what a beautiful truck that is. They start at $33,000. The Rubicon starts at $43,000, but a really cool vehicle. And the other vehicle, if you haven't seen it on TV in the commercials, is the new Chevy Blazer. And very, very cool looking, very angled. It reminds me of the Lexus RX 350 at probably 1/3 the price, but the Chevy Blazers are now in the store. The other vehicle that is making a splash is the new Ford Ranger. Ford's been without Ranger for years, and they have a brand new Ranger coming out, and they want to compete, of course, with the Chevy Colorado and the GMC version, and also with the Tacoma, which is kicking their butt, and the Nissan Frontier. So Ranger now has a small pickup truck coming out, which by the way is not that small. The Acura RDX is brand new. The Audi has a new A7 model that just came out. They have a new e-tron, which is a new electric car that Audi has, and I guess they're jumping on that electric bandwagon. Still really don't know why. Don't have anybody coming and asking for one. People say, how do you do electric cars? We don't do anything with electric cars, because I have nobody coming in and asking. Until somebody comes in and asks me to buy an electric car for them, it ain't going to happen. And the what's going on in the industry is everybody is switching over to electric car. Matter of fact, I think Volvo said that within a matter of time, all their cars are going to be electric. Crazy if you ask me, because nobody's asking for them until the range gets better. I think the biggest problem we have with electric cars is range anxiety. They came out, with the Nissan Leaf came out years ago, and they had about a 100-mile range. Well, that's not enough to do anything. Tesla is now to the point where they have a couple of their units, models will go up to almost 400 miles of range, which at least that's quite a bit better. And if they can get that charging system to charge a little bit faster, maybe people more excited about buying electric. Chevy's got a new pickup truck out, and so does the Ram truck. They're redesigned, look beautiful, both of them. Audi has a Q8, which is brand new. The Ford Edge is brand new. The Honda Insight, which is their hybrid / electric, is brand new. Honda has a new Passport, small SUV. A lot of things. I'm not going to go through the whole list, but the interesting thing about the car industry is what they're not making anymore. And they are canceling a bunch of sedans. 13 of these are 3 of them are already done. 13 others are going. And some of these have me stumped, folks. And I'll give you an example. The Ford Fusion last year sold 210,000 Ford Fusions. Compare that with the Fiat, which is selling about 10,000 units a year. 209,623 Fusion. They're canceling the Fusion. The Ford Focus, 158,000 Ford Focuses were sold. They're canceling the Focus. The Buick Cascada, now they only sold 5,000 of those. That's that Buick convertible that came out with about 4 years ago. history. Buick LaCrosse, phenomenal luxury car. I love the LaCrosse. We're selling them like crazy. Not going to make them next year. Cadillac ATS and the CT6 and the XTS, gone. Chevy Cruze, they sold 184,000 Chevy Cruzes. Why would they cancel a Chevy Cruze? I'll tell you why they're canceling all these sedans. Because the average price of a small SUV is $8,400 more than a small sedan. And people want SUVs. Does it cost that much more to build an SUV? I don't think so. General Motors, I'm picking on General Motors, I shouldn't say that. All across the board, they're making way more money on SUVs, and that's why they're going to SUVs. And the only way they can do that is they're going to drop the cars, the sedans, and come out with more SUVs. How many more SUVs do they need? How much smaller can they get? Starting to go to two-seaters. The Chevy Volt, by the way, Chevy Volt is a phenomenal vehicle. They finally got it right. They got an electric car that can go 60 to 70 miles on electric only, and then switch over to gas and go another 400 miles on gas. And if it runs out of juice, it's not a problem. Go to the gas station and fill it up. But for tooling around here in Pensacola, what a great car. I've got a guy who's got a Chevy Volt. He's never put fuel in. I told him to put stable in there because he's never used his fuel. He had it for a couple of years. The fuel must be getting old because he uses only electric because he just tools around Pensacola. Cool car. Discontinued. Nobody asked me an opinion. Can't figure it out. Let's talk about brand rankings. Brand rankings just came out. Very important to me. Consumer Reports comes out with this once a year, and they just came out with the new ones. And they had said that the number one vehicle out there across the board is not Lexus, not Toyota, not Genesis like last year. It's Subaru. Billy Anderson at Anderson Subaru must be smiling. Subaru is number one. You know, if you get the number one ranking from Consumer Reports, it's a pretty big deal. They're going to use that to sell more and more Subarus, as they should. They're saying a Subaru is a phenomenal car. Matter of fact, I just sold my uncle a Subaru with 4,000 miles on it. He bought an Outback, and what a great car. He's so happy. He had a Ford Edge. He loved the Ford Edge, had 150,000 miles on it. Time to get a new car. So he decided to go to Subaru because he wants four-wheel drive. Well, I'm not sure if you know that, but Subaru is the only manufacturer that's all four-wheel drive, at least the only one that I know of. They're all when I say four-wheel drive, I'm talking about all-wheel drive. Number two was Genesis. Last year, Genesis was number one. It's a sleeper. If you're looking for a luxury car and you don't want to pay the price of a Lexus, which I love Lexus, by the way. I'm not saying anything bad about Lexus. My wife, I drive one. I drive an LC 500, which is their sports car. My wife drives an LS 460, which is their big luxury car. And one reason she drives that is because the Genesis that she was driving, the G80, was just sold. But Genesis is the number two best car out there. Alan Turner is our local Genesis dealer. Matter of fact, he's building a brand new showroom for Genesis. He built a brand new Hyundai dealership. So if you're going to buy a brand new Genesis, and by the way, if you don't know what that is, Genesis is the luxury brand of Hyundai. Did you know that? They just changed that a couple years ago. Genesis used to be a Hyundai car. And they said, well, we want to branch off and build luxury cars just like Lexus, Acura, and Infiniti are doing. Well, how do we do that? Well, we'll come up with a new luxury brand. What are we going to call it? I thought for sure they were going to call it Equus. They didn't. They called it Genesis. So if you see a new Genesis, that means that's a luxury brand, and they make a G80, a G90, a G70, and there will be more and more coming out in the future. And Consumer Reports says that is the second best brand. Last year was number one. This year is number two. Porsche's number three. Can't figure that out. I always thought Porsche was kind of a crappy car, even though they're beautiful driving vehicles, sporty vehicles. But as far as reliability, not so. Guess what? They made a big comeback. They are now not only a cool car, they're very reliable, which they never used to be. Now, they are very expensive, but that's a whole different subject. Audi is number four. We have a new Audi dealership last year. Sonic Automotive came to town, and they built a brand new Audi dealership. How great is that for us? Used car dealers in Pensacola? I love it. My Audi sales have doubled since they've gotten a local Audi dealership because now you can get them serviced locally. And Audi used to be an issue, not one of my favorite cars 10 years ago. Well, it is now because Consumer Reports says Audi is actually a good car as far as reliability, because they always were good cars, but they weren't the most reliable car. The most reliable car that I know of is Lexus, and Lexus was number five. And the reason that they're not number one, because this is not a reliability ranking. This is an overall brand ranking, which includes reliability, also includes customer satisfaction, also includes roadability. That means how does it drive? How quiet is it? What's the acceleration like? And also safety. Safety features, it has to have the latest and greatest safety features, at least standard for half their cars, or they're not going to get a good ranking. Well, they love the Lexus reliability, but they didn't like the way they handled as much as some of the other cars. And that's why you notice that Audi, Porsche, and Genesis are ahead of them. Phenomenal car for reliability. I love selling a Lexus. We've been selling them since we've been open. Well, we've been selling all these since we've been open, but a very, very good car. Can't say enough about Lexus. Mazda is this big sleeper. Number 6 is Mazda. Mazda's ahead of BMW, Lincoln, Toyota, Honda, Hyundai. Mazda. Look at a Mazda, folks. They're not very expensive, and they're one of the best cars out there. So you get a kind of an idea what I'm talking about. And this leads back into what I was saying as far as Frontier Motors. And what do we do at Frontier Motors? Well, one thing is we sell every one of these makes and models. So you don't have to be sold a particular car. Matter of fact, my buddy Dave Ramsey actually says it best. Let me tell you what he says about Frontier Motors and what you can expect when you come to Frontier Motors.
Hey, Dave Ramsey here. For almost a decade, I've been telling you about my friends at Frontier Motors in Pensacola. The biggest reason is they help my listeners save thousands of dollars when purchasing a slightly used car over a brand new one. Consumer Reports says the average new car depreciates a whopping $9,200 in the first year alone. That's crazy. So if you're thinking new, don't. Go see Frontier Motors and see how much they can save you on a current year car with very low miles. And if your goal is to get out of debt, bring Frontier Motors your car and they can write you a check on the spot. Frontier Motors can also do consignments and they don't charge a fee or a commission. Frontier Motors have been helping the people in the Pensacola area for 21 years. They are the go-to dealer for free advice when it comes to buying or selling a car. Please go see my friends at Frontier Motors. And don't forget to tell them Dave Ramsey sent you.
Dave does a really good job saying in 30 seconds what it takes me half an hour to say. He's very good. And the cool thing about Dave Ramsey is he picked us out. He came to the Pensacola area. He said, I'm going to endorse one dealer, and it's going to be a used car dealership. And he picked us out. We didn't call him and ask if we could advertise on him. And of course, his advertisement is so great, we could continue to do it, which is kind of a feather in our cap that he chose Frontier Motors to be their dealer of choice in the Pensacola area. And one of the reasons it does is you'll call the Better Business Bureau. He's got his guys doing a lot of research before they pick a dealership out to make sure that he's not going to be embarrassed by endorsing a dealer that doesn't do what they say. As a matter of fact, everybody's sick of surveys. You know, I send out surveys at Frontier Motors, and I've got a really good return on our surveys. We send them out every week. If we get 30 customers in, we're going to send out 30 surveys to ask them how they were treated at the dealership, because we need to know positive and negative feedback, just like Google reviews. Just like anything else, if you go to a restaurant, it's nice to have the feedback. And we also do it for the customers that purchase cars. And I've got the survey last time for customers that purchase a car, and I'm happy to report that every single one was 100%. And I'll give you a kind of an idea of what customers are talking about at us at Frontier Motors, what they're saying. Don't forget, folks, we sell used cars for a living. It's difficult to have good reviews when you're selling used cars, because you know what happens with used cars? They break down. And what happens when they break down? Well, people blame the dealer. So it's really interesting that we have such a good rapport with our customers that they still say, and I'll give you an example. I was very much impressed with the entire staff and highly recommend others to buy their next vehicle from Frontier. That was from Diane. Another one is, thank you for always making the car buying experience pleasant without the high pressure. Matt is fantastic and he's great to work with. Here's another one from a new salesperson that we just got, Conrad Wilson. We appreciated Conrad Wilson's help and the ease of the car buying process at Frontier. Conrad seems to be a very humble and kind person, and it helped us in being confident with our purchase. I love the truck. It's exactly what I wanted and what I needed. All I can say is if you continue your good business ethics, you will bring people back for another sale in the future. I will highly recommend your business practices to others. Guy's name was Lee, the first one he bought from. And last one, this is the second vehicle I purchased from Frontier Motors. Always a very pleasant experience, which usually doesn't fit with purchasing a vehicle. Thank you so much. People hate buying a car. Why do they hate buying a car? I always would think it's because they're so darn expensive. That's not the number one reason. The number one reason people don't come and buy a car more often which, by the way, the average age of a car on the road in the United States last year was 11.2 years. Can you imagine that? So it's not because people don't have the money. It's because they hate the car buying process. They hate what goes on. And I get this feedback from my customers. I read it in publications that the car dealerships in general still do not make the car buying process a good experience. Well, we've changed that at Frontier Motors, folks. We make it so simple when you come into Frontier Motors that once you've got the car picked out, by the way, our salespeople unlock every single car every day, so that if you want to just sit inside a car, you don't have to have a salesman run back and forth and get a key, which you're going to find at most new car dealerships. Every single car is locked because they want to make you feel obligated that the salesman is running back and forth. If you look at 20 different vehicles, he's going to have to run 20 times. You feel pretty obligated if the guy's working that hard. We unlock every car every morning. We let you demo the vehicle. We let you get it inspected. And then when the question comes in, well, what's your best deal? We give you the best deal right off the bat. So our salesman goes to the manager and say, I got a customer interest in the car. This is what we've got it online for. Is there anything more that you can do to make this a better deal for the customer? So the sales manager will look at their book and they'll see if we can knock off some more. They'll give you an appraisal on your car. And then what we're going to do is something different. We're going to give you an out-the-door price in writing, not verbally, not on the back of the business card, but in a detailed sheet that tells you the price, if there's a discount, your trade-in value, the taxes, the dock fee, any other fees, the total, and then we're going to circle or highlight it. And we're going to give you a copy of that, because if you want to go car shop, how do you know if you're getting a good deal if you don't compare apples to apples? And when you talk about apples to apples, you want to make sure that you know that if you're going to be comparing new car to new car, that it's exactly the same. It's a lot easier with a new car because they have a window sticker. So if you're looking at one new car and it's $28,000, and the other dealer has the same car and it's $30,000, you pretty much know that it's got $2,000 more of equipment and what that equipment is. Not so much on used cars, because all you do is look at the car. You normally don't have a window sticker for the car. All you see is what they have online. Sometimes you can't tell if it's got navigation. Sometimes the pictures don't show you if it has a sunroof, or if it's got a backup camera, or if it's got a backup buzzer, or the size of the wheels and tires. You know, sometimes some of these cars can have wheels and tires that cost $6,000 or $7,000 that one car might have and the other one doesn't. Well, you don't know that if you're buying it used, but you do at Frontier Motors because we have the ability to run the window sticker of that car for you. So we can compare one car that you're looking at one dealer to the vehicle that you're looking at Frontier Motors and see how it compares as far as original equipment. So that makes it very, very helpful. The other thing we can do, folks, within 15 minutes, we can give you an appraisal on your car. Whether you buy that new car from us, or whether you buy it from a new car dealership, or maybe your neighbor across the street, wouldn't it be nice to give it a second opinion on your car? And we do this in writing, so you know that you're not going to get taken advantage of. So if you go to the new car dealership, you work out your best deal where you feel comfortable. A lot of times you'll go online and you'll do some research as far as how much you can buy the car for. And you do that normally without a trade-in. And then, of course, you toss the keys to the used car manager and say, hey, tell me what you're going to give me for my car now. Well, at Frontier Motors, we're going to tell you what that vehicle value should be, especially after you've already gotten the discount. And believe me, folks, I saw advertisements this morning on Channel 3. There's probably 15 car commercials in an hour that I saw. And most of them, especially the truck ones, they have $10,000 off the original price, $9,500 off. There was one that on their lot, not on their lot, but on their website, showed discounts up to $15,000. Now, a lot of those discounts are fictional. What I mean by that is you can't qualify for every single rebate that they're offering you. And they're saying sometimes in their advertisements that with all the rebates, this is what you can get off. Well, most people don't qualify for every rebate. They might have a college graduate rebate. They might have a loyalty owner. What that means is you got to trade a certain car in on the car you're buying. That's a loyalty owner. They might have a first-time buyer rebate. They might have rebates that you don't qualify for. So it gets very confusing. But a lot of times, if it is a good deal, and then you toss them the keys for your car, you're going to find out exactly what they're appraising your car for. And that's going to be a wholesale value. Well, guess what? The wholesale value is not a book value. It's not an NADA. It's not a black book. It's not an Edmunds. It's not a Kelly book. It's an opinion of the person that is buying your car from you, which is the used car manager in most instances. In most instances, the used car manager is appraising your car. Now, guess how he gets paid in most instances? He gets paid on the amount of used cars they sell and how much he makes on them. So what's his job? His job is to take your car in for the least amount that he possibly can and still get you to buy the new car. So this is where that game starts that everybody hates. Well, I'm going to appraise the car for this, and I'll give you this much, and then they get a call back, and they try to bump them a little bit, and we don't play that game at Frontier Motors. We're going to give you a fair, high wholesale value right off the bat, and that's what we'll write you a check for on your car. If you buy a car from us, we might deviate a little bit from that value because you're taking one off the shelf and replacing it with one. But it's a fair value right off the bat. And we have 3 appraisers on duty all the time to make sure that you don't have to sit here and wait for 3 hours. A lot of dealerships advertise they'll buy your car, but there's no one there to buy your car because the buyer is at the auctions 3-4 days a week. So they might have 2 days where he's at the dealership, and it's not normally on Saturday when you want to buy bid. So what we do at Frontier Motors, we make sure we have 5 appraisers, 3 of them are always there. So within 15 minutes, we can tell you, this is what we'll give you for your car. This is what we'll give you on trade. This is what we'll give you if you buy the car. And this is what we'll give you if you want to consign your car. So that's one of the things that we can help you with, which has to do with pricing. The other thing we can help you with is, let's say you're going to buy a car at a used car dealership, maybe one of these small used car dealers on Palafox, or maybe it's your neighbor, or maybe somebody on Craigslist. We will give you a free history report. We run Carfax and AutoCheck. Carfax costs about $40 plus tax. AutoCheck is $25 plus tax. We run both of them for you at no charge. Now, why do we do this? Well, number one, it gets you to call us so we can tell you if we have a car like that. And the reason we say that, let's say your neighbor's selling a 2018 Impala. Well, we've got 2 of them on the lot. So then we can tell you, oh, by the way, we've got 2. Ours have clean history reports, and this is what we're selling ours for. So you can use that as a comparison to buy your neighbor's. Now, we're not trying to kink your deal. If you want to help your neighbor out and buy his car, it's fine. But what if you're asking $25,000 for a car that we have available for $22,000? What if his has a bad history report? And it's not always necessarily just accidents that people are worried about. There are other things that I look at. I was looking at a Mercedes, about a 5-year-old Mercedes that was out of factory warranty, and I noticed that they put 2 transmissions in the car. Well, guess what? That scared me a little bit. Even though they're new transmissions, why did they have to put 2 transmissions in this particular 5-year-old Mercedes? So that scared me as far as buying that car from that individual. So there are other things that you should look at. You know, a lot of people look at how many owners it had. I don't pay a lot of attention, to how many owners, because I pay more attention to how those owners treated that car. What if you have a 1-owner car that's 5 years old and it's a piece of crap? What if the guy didn't treat it good? What if he ran it into the mud puddles? What if he never waxed it or washed it? So now you're looking at 1-owner cars. That's a rotten apple. Or you buy a car that's got 3 owners, but they took really, really good care of the car. And you can see that on the Carfax, all the service has always been done by every single owner. The 10,000 mile inspection, the 30,000, all the oil has been changed on time. That's what I care about. When we buy a car, you know, most people rank everything from 0 to 10. If the car is not a 9, we don't even fool around with it. At the auction, they rate them from 0 to 5. So the way that I look at it, if it's not at least a 4.5, a 4.5, we don't look at the car, because I want a really clean car on the lot. And I found that after doing this for 20 years, 23 years at Frontier Motors, that people would rather pay a little bit more for a really clean car than pay a little bit less for a wrap. You know, one that's been smoked in, maybe it's been in 2 accidents, maybe the tires are iffy, maybe it's got a big chip in the windshield or a crack in the windshield, the trunk is dirty, there's still food underneath the seats. And this is what I'm talking about versus a clean car that's absolutely flawless, that has no nicks, no scratches, non-smoker, clean history report. And that's what we purchase at Frontier Motors. Now, we do take anything in trade, like all dealerships advertise. We'll take a car that's a nasty car in trade. We just are not going to sell it to the general public. We're going to sell that car at the auction and sell it to someone else, not sell to one of our customers. We pride ourselves in making sure that when we put the car on the lot, the car is the cleanest car that you're going to see. And we get more and more compliments from customers that open the car doors, because again, they're always unlocked, and look at the car and say, wow, these are really, really clean cars. They're not dirty, they're not filthy, they don't smell. We can give you a price list when you come on a lot. We print a price list every day. We can give you a price list so you know exactly what we're asking for in every individual car. I had a customer years ago that came on a lot and said, you don't have prices on your cars. I said, well, I don't have them on there because I don't like stickies. You know how those dealerships have those stickies all over the place? I really don't care for those hang tags and everything. So what I do is I print a price list. So that customer's complaint was completely shot because now you have a price on every single car that we have on the lot. Not only the list price, also it'll tell you the equipment and also the miles, because a lot of times the miles are digital. You don't see the miles. So we give you a mileage so you know the car's not a 3-year-old car with 150,000 miles on. You know exactly what's up. So folks, again, Frontier Motors has been around for 23 years. We are the go-to dealer for free advice. If you have any questions about buying or selling a car, we are the dealer to help. We don't make you feel obligated that you got to buy a car from us. If you want to sell a car to a neighbor, if you're buying from a private individual, what should you look out for? How do you protect yourself to make sure that you're actually going to get the money? And when you go to Craigslist, for example, the first 4 paragraphs on Craigslist is all about scams and what you should look out for. If you're going to go to Craigslist, why not stop at Frontier Motors, bring the car over to us, and let us tell you what we can buy your car from. And if that's not enough, we can also tell you what we'll do a consignment for. And a consignment will normally give you a little bit more because we don't tie up our cash and we don't have to worry about the car going down in value while we own the car. So on a consignment, you put the car on the lot. We normally have between 15 to 25 cars on the lot on consignment, and we don't charge any more for them. We make a little less on the cars on consignment because we have to make sure there's still a good deal for a prospective customer. And of course, the car has to be in mint condition. Again, on a scale from 1 to 10, it's got to be a 9, or we're not going to put it on our lot, whether that's consignment or whether that's on our own car. So if the car needs tires, you're going to have to put tires on it. But we do a very good consignment business. Like Dave Ramsey said, we don't charge for consignment. We tell you what we're going to net. And then if we make a little bit more money over that, that's what we keep. A great show that we have here on YouTube. We've got all of our other shows on YouTube. We also have a great Facebook page. We have our inventory on Facebook. You can leave comments. You can ask questions on Facebook. And you can go to our website, frontiermotorsinc.com. If you just Google Frontier Motors, we're the first one that comes up because we have the highest inventory. We sell the most amount of cars. I think there's about 5 Frontier Motors in the nation, and we are the number 1. We have about 400 cars in inventory, between 350 and 400 cars in inventory all the time. We sell between 200 and 250 cars every single month, which means that's how many I've got to buy. And that leads me to end the show by letting you know that not only do we sell cars, but it's more important for me to buy cars than it is to sell cars. We have so many repeat customers. It's very easy for us to sell cars because people trust us. They come in, they bought from us before. It's very, very simple. We give you a price. It's a fair deal. We make a little bit of money and you get a good deal and you don't have to haggle for 3 hours. But the main thing is when you have a car for sale, bring it to us first. Let us give you the advice on what you should sell it for. And we do this, folks. This is not to make you feel obligated to buy a car from us. We do this from 8:30 in the morning till 6 o'clock at night, all day long for free. So don't hesitate to call. That's Frontier Motors, 230 Beverly Parkway. Thanks for watching. Have a great day. I'll be okay.
Or truck. Guess what? You're in luck. Frontier Motors is down the street. Got the best deals that can't be beat. Don't overpay. Come in today. Doing business the old-fashioned way. Frontier. We got the right price. Frontier. We'll treat you mighty nice. Frontier Motors. Low overhead country.